What a lovely sky that is. And very nice temperatures too. It's the 28th of April today, and this is the view from the entrance to Lound Wood, just outside the village of Eakring. You may well be able to hear the church bells. They must have known I was coming. But hopefully we can get a nice couple of hours in, attract a few moths. The temperature will drop, I think, from now onwards because of the clear sky, but it's been a lovely day. Absolutely beautiful. And it's very, very dry. The field in front is almost like dust, it really is. It's been recently cultivated, but it's as dry as a bone. And that's the story of April, certainly here in Nottinghamshire. As far as I can remember, we've had 2 periods of rain. One was last week, and that's it. We've missed all the showers locally, and there's no sign of any rain coming. It means that moths are flying, they're getting all the business of the breeding season done, and then they're popping the clogs. It seems to be one of those years again where flight seasons are shortened because of the fine weather allowing the moths to fly, and hopefully 1 or 2 will arrive at the light in half an hour or so. Time to get set up. Clouds of midges when just waiting for the light to start up. They seem to have gone now, but there may well be a little carpet of midges around the light later on. I've just been sat here just looking down over towards Eakring, and I do love trapping here at the side of Lound Wood. I could go into the middle of Lound Wood and trap there, but I do like to trap on this western edge of Lound Wood. Lots of scope here, scope for any migrant activity, because moths will come across. There's another brimstone just fluttering by, that's 3 already. But also moths patrol up and down the side of Lound Wood. They also come out of Lound Wood because I'm just sat at the entrance. But it is just a lovely place to sit and wait for it to get dark and wait for the moths to come in. It's a beautiful evening. Let's hope we'll get quite a variety at the trap. It's all brimstones at the moment. Well, there's one of the first moths in at the light, and typically so. They often arrive quite quickly and then continue through the first few hours. And this is a lunar marble brown. I know it's just grey and white, or various shades of grey and white, but it is an attractive thing. Nothing else flying that's marked like this at this time of year, so it's an easy one to identify and may well turn up in most people's suburban gardens Not mine, unfortunately, but one day maybe. So there's now 2 of these actually in at the light. Another one has dropped in, possibly a third as well. So that's Lunar Marble Brown, a very nice early spring moth. An hour gone, and that hour has gone very fast too. Good numbers of moths have come in. It's been very pleasing actually, especially considering that the sky hasn't been as dark as it is behind me now for most of this first hour. Then the 15 or 16 species, there's a couple of micros to identify. I'm very pleased with that, and there's been decent numbers of especially Lunar Marble Brown, which is into double figures of Lunar Marble Brown, but nice numbers of common species like Brimstone too. It's always nice to get good numbers of any moth. And what's been pleasing about this first hour is the number of micros. There's been quite a few species, and I've not had much chance really over the last few trapping sessions to talk about micros, purely because there's not been that many. So one particular notable species, it is an attractive moth. I'll post a photo of it in here, but it's probably more notable for its name, and of course you may well have guessed now that it's going to be a nice long name, but it is pronounceable, and it's Pseudoswamodamia combinella. How about that then? That's a cracker, isn't it? But it's a lovely little moth too, and nice to see that 2 of those have come in. So very, very pleasing. This is a nice session. The temperature is still 13 centigrade. You wouldn't think that it was late April. It's absolutely beautiful. And I think I showed this in a recent trapping session, but this is an absolutely stunningly marked small phoenix. It appears incredibly fresh, very beautiful. I know there's no sort of real colour to this species, but it's just the markings. When you look at them, the markings are fantastic. Mother Nature had a field day designing many moths, and this is one of those that she would have had a field day with. It's common enough, will occur regularly, but I didn't trap it that much over the last couple of years, but it seems to be doing well, and let's hope it continues to do well. It's a beautiful moth. It will occur in urban and suburban gardens, so it's one to look out for if you're new to trapping. Not that we can see as much of that one now. We have a nice range of moths in. Lot on the side of the light. Recent arrivals include purple thorn, which is sat at the side of the clock and thermometer there, but lots of Lunar Marble Browns, oak tree pug, another rivulet. That's 3 rivulets that have dropped in now. 2 least black arches. If I just have a quick look in the book, water carpet, there's a single water carpet, probably getting a little bit late for water carpet now. And another micro with a super name, Semioscopis steinkelneriana. I'll put photos into that, and it's a lot easier to look at than it is to pronounce the name, but it's a cracking moth. A Hebrew character, just the one Hebrew character. Interestingly, that tonight so far I've not had any flame shoulders in it, and I trapped at Besthorpe gravel pits the other night. I was, well, not so much inundated with flame shoulders, but I had quite a few, and they were the best of the night. So we're doing very well. Well, here's an absolute beauty, and this is a scorched carpet, very distinctively marked and beautifully marked too. It really is a stunning moth. And this one, of course, has only just hatched out. They're just starting to come onto the wing now. But it's an absolute beauty. This is, I've done quite well with these over the years. Other people, this moth has generally eluded them, but it's a fabulous moth to catch. Those dark markings there, the base of the wings, those dark patches, almost forms a dark bar across the thorax. See how the thorax is black, but it's a beauty of a moth. And you can catch this in urban gardens. I've had this on a couple of occasions at home, and it's a real fabulous moth. It's that scorched carpet that sneaked in undetected. One of those occasions where you walk around the sheet, all of a sudden you're met with an absolutely fabulous moth. It's that busy as we approach the end of the second hour that it's hard to keep up with what's come in. But one species that's made it quite easy for me, because this chap won't let go of me. This is a pale tussock, and obviously being attracted to light, it's a male, but these are common. The caterpillar is absolutely beautiful. It's an amazing caterpillar, one of the UK's best, to be honest. And the moth isn't too shabby either. They're quite variable. Basically a mix of greys and dark greys and almost to the point of white. And this is only the second one I've had this year, so I'm expecting more of these. But it's a very nice moth. I will put a photo in so you can see it properly rather than gawping at it while it's sat on my hand. But a lovely early spring flying species, but the caterpillar is what I would call an absolute stonker of a thing. It really is beautiful. And to be honest, when you see the caterpillar and then you see the moth, you probably think it's a bit disappointing, really. You might be expecting a more spectacular moth from the caterpillar, but this is what you get from this beautiful caterpillar. So that's pale tussock. And in terms of species, we're on about 25 species now, and it's time for another check around the light, because I think something else has just dropped in. Well, here's a nice moth, and a good one for the trapping list this evening. This is a barred hooktip. Hooktips are given that name for obvious reasons by the end of the wingtips there. And although the majority of them fit this shape, they are quite different in their markings and colorations. This isn't the commonest of the hooktips, so it's a nice one to get. I'm very pleased to get this. This is one that I didn't expect. So barred hook tip. I've had this at home, if I remember right, but anywhere that this turns up, it's always a nice moth to get. Generally that sort of orangey brown colour with that darker brown bar right across the wings there. Very attractive species, and in flight they look extremely orange. I've eventually got over 30 species. In fact, it's 32 species at the moment, and we're just past, well, 11:15, 23:13 at the moment, and a nice range of species too. A couple of late ones, a single male Diurnia fagella. That's a surprise, because I thought they were long done by now. Red-green carpet just come in and settled on the box, so that's quite late now for red-green carpet. But the other moths that have just come in or recently come in, early thorn made a brief appearance, flame shoulder eventually got one, yeah, the small phoenix is in, spectacle first one of the year, and yeah, a couple of knotgrass, 3 pale tussocks now, a foxglove pug as well. It's probably one of our most beautiful pugs. It's a real beauty. And say scorched carpet, Salifa lacunana, the first of many, no doubt, and that's a very common micro moth, one which you'll disturb, and you'll see if you're walking through woodland or along hedgerows. It's very common, and it will turn up in in gardens too. So we've done really well. In fact, we've done better than I was expecting and anticipating. I think though we're about time for a jumper. It started to drop a little bit. It's 11 centigrade now, so I might treat myself to the warmth of a jumper. But it's a beautiful evening still, absolutely beautiful. And the moths have turned up too. Well, I've enjoyed this moth trapping session better than I expected. I've ended up with 33 species because Pebble Hooktip has also joined the party. But it's starting to drop a little bit cool now. I'm happy to have trapped for 2 3/4 hours. It's still early enough. It's, well, we're just approaching 11:30. So I think a steady pack up is in order. Then a final check to see if there's anything new come in. And then we head for home. As I've said before, I could stay for another hour or a couple of hours, but there's always another night.